One of the things that's emerged over the last day or so is, I mean, we all know about China, the most populous nation in the world. We all know about the Uyghur Muslims, and the problems they've had. Problem may be a very, very light word. In fact, it could be like effectively, to a large degree, extermination. And one thinks about Holocaust in Germany and what that means. So here's another example of that, right? So with that in mind, I understand there's been a video or a documentary put out. To combat the level of disgruntlement and pressure from many people in the world around the treatment of Uyghur Muslims, and this documentary shows off these Uyghur Muslims in a pretty good light, so to speak. Okay, but the reality, there's a sense of like that's a whole lot of Goebbels propaganda. So let's find out more about that with Rahima Mahmut, who's the UK project director of the World Uyghur Congress. Rahima, I appreciate your time. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So tell us what's happened here about this documentary that we should be concerned about.
Well, it's really hurtful when you, as Uyghur myself, when I watch a documentary like that. China, the CCP government been really fighting very hard to portray themselves as a promoter of the Islamic faith, and they're treating Uyghurs really, really well. But if you listen to the survivors and the stories of myself and my President Dolkun Isa, for example, just my own story, I lost contact with my entire family since January 2017. And many thousands of Uyghurs living exiles, they all found out there are several, or some even up to 10, 20 members of the family taken into the concentration camps, the so-called re-education camps. And we know what has been happening inside those camps. And also even the people who are not taken into these camps, they are living in constant fear. I spoke to one of the top intellectual when I was involved with the film Undercover China's Digital Gulag. And when we spoke to him, he left China just 2 months before that. He said, every knock on the door brings frights to everyone. So you just think that maybe police now came and it's me. I will be taken in. So that is a kind of horror. And we know according to the acknowledged, or the report is 1 million, but we believe up to 3 million Uyghurs and other Muslims are interned in these so-called re-education camps. In fact, it's concentration camps. We know over 500 over a million children taken away. Then forced labor is a widespread. In China's government's own leaked document, it said very clearly, break their lineage, break their roots, break their connection, break their origin. And comparing the Uyghurs as malignant tumor, comparing Islamic faith as a mental disease. This is all in its own document, the leaked document. And also regarding these facilities, it said defend like prison. So it is, in fact, it's prison.
So two things. I mean, one, in terms of your personal testimony and your own family, I'm so sorry about that. What does one tell a person like this? It's really, really sad. 4 years, as you said, there's like just no contact, right? The other is this latest documentary now doing the round, showing off your community in a good light. It's like things are just fine, right? I mean, have you seen it, and how do you respond based upon what you've seen?
It's so humiliating. It is humiliating. If you read a book, Jun Chang's book, Unknown Story of Mao during the Cultural Revolution, there is a scenery that how they killed the Tibetans and then made the women to dance. Knowing their husband were buried on that land and then forcing them to dance. that is a kind of reminder of what they are doing to my people. And these people are not happy. Everyone is desperate to leave. Everyone wish that they can leave that hell. But obviously, when you are threatened that if you didn't do such and such a thing, then you yourself, including your children, your family, will be taken to this concentration camp, and the people just have to do what they are forced. I've
Okay,
seen
how do you combat?
intellectuals
How do you? So two
confessing.
things. So two things. How do you combat against the level of disinformation from the video? And I'll leave you with this last thing. What's the world community doing about this? I mean, beyond people like yourself and others voicing an opposition. I mean, to what degree is it not just opposition, but it translates into not dealing with China any longer and putting serious global pressure on them?
Yes, we need the support from all countries on this. You must have heard that the UK recently, on the 22nd of April, the Parliament unanimously acknowledged and recognized what is happening as genocide. We know several other countries already also mentioned or said that this is genocide happening. Not only the countries, but there are two legal analysis report, New Line Institute and Essex Court Chamber report. I would ask people to look at those reports and listen to the survivors' accounts. But as for how the world can do, I mean, individual people and the governments must recognize this as genocide and fulfill its obligation under the Genocide Convention. That's what we are asking.
Okay, let's
And
leave it
also
at that, because the next question is what happens next. Yeah, if they're not recognizing it already, what's stopping them? But maybe another conversation we need to be having. Thank you for your time, most appreciated. Under the worst possible circumstances, I may add, because it's just not. Ideally, we should have a nice, simple life, but it's not like that at the moment. Thank you for your time, Rahima, Mahmut, speaking about the Muslims of China, the Uyghur Muslims, and the level of oppression that they face, and the disinformation around their oppression to the point that their lives chill. But what about it being declared a genocide? When is that going to happen? Well, anyone from the UN, are you listening? Something to consider. We'll chat to Naim Jina in a moment.